This is the Rubik's Roll, and my name is Dana, and welcome to an episode of Dana Does, where I take a look at some really awesome products from Rubik's. It comes with an instruction manual, and I'll go over each of the games individually, and of course, it also comes with the Rubik's Roll itself. Now, this game does look like a standard Rubik's Cube, but it's called a Rubik's Roll, and there are 5-in-1 games that you can play with the Rubik's Roll. To take off the outer casing, you can sort of squeeze lightly and pull up, and this part is pretty interesting. You can pull out the layers one by one, and I don't do so good of a job. Whoops. Anyway, so again, this is the Rubik's Roll. It's a new portable Rubik's game, and with the Rubik's Roll, you receive 27 dice, a shaker, and 2 grids, and this translates to a lot of games. So, for example, there are 5 outlined in the instructions, and I'll go through all of them, but they are as follows: Play the Shake, 21, Battle Dice, Trio, and Tower of Dice, and you can play all of them with this grab-and-go game. And the games involve a variety of skills such as counting, matching, creating patterns, and problem solving. And because you can play all 5 games, and you can probably come up with your own, and this comes in a pretty small package, it's perfect for road trips, it's easy to store, and you can fit 5 games easily in your hand. And the Rubik's Roll is fun for anywhere from 2 to 5 players. Now, the first game is called The Shake, and if you saw earlier, I shaked the scrambler, and to do so, I got a random pattern, and this is a 2-player game. Each player takes 9 dice, you put 9 in the shaker, and you keep rolling, and if you match one of the colors in the shaker, you put it on, and you keep doing this until one of you matches the pattern in the shaker. So you can see me winning against myself here. The second game is called 21, where you try and roll 21 or as close to it as possible. And to do so, each player rolls 9 dice, and on each turn, the number score of that round is the highest number of dice of the same color. And you can keep going as high as you want, and you want to get as close as you can to 21 without going over. So, for example, here on this first roll, I ended up with 3 blues and 3 greens, so my score for this round was 3. And on this roll, I managed to drop one of the cubies off the edge of my desk. And after a few rolls, I got to 23, in which case I lose the game. In the third game, Battle Dice, you want to hunt down your opponent's dice, and each player has 3 dice and 1 grid, and you choose a color and place your dice on your grid, and make sure to keep them a secret. On your turn, you want to call out a grid reference like A2, which is a coordinate, and the other player says hit or miss, and whoever gets the other person's 3 dice first wins. For me, I said the columns go A, B, C, and the rows go 1, 2, 3. So if my opponent said C1, it would be a hit because my QB is there. Unfortunate. If they said B2, however, that would be a miss because they don't have a QB there. A2 would be a hit because I have a QB there. C3 would be a miss because there's nothing there. And lastly, B3 would be a hit, and I would lose the game. The fourth game is called Trio, in which 2 players play against each other. Each player picks a color, and on each turn, they roll 6 dice. If there are any dice of their color, they get to put it on the grid, and the goal is to get 3 in a row before your opponent does. So clearly the player on the left has chosen red, and the player on the right has chosen white in this case. On this particular roll, the right player went, and they got a white QB, so they get to put it on the board. Unfortunately, the player on the left does not roll any red, so the player does not get a chance to put down a QB on the board. This goes on for some time, and the left player makes a comeback and wins with a really clutch roll at the end. Now for the final and perhaps my favorite game is Tower of Dice. So there's a grid in the middle and it's a 2-player game. You guys decide on a color, and on each turn, each player rolls all 9 dice. If there is one that matches the color that was decided on, you have to place it on the QB in the middle, and your goal is to not be the person that puts the QB on the tower that causes it to topple over. So you can see here, for example, the left player rolls, there's a white one, so you have to put it on top, and this goes on for quite a while, and I actually have to change the camera angle up because the tower gets so high, so this is pretty interesting to watch. Look at the wobble! You'll notice each turn actually takes longer and longer time, and this is because the higher and higher it gets, the more worried I am that it's going to fall over. And I actually managed to stack all the QBs on top of each other, so this led for a pretty cool view. And for the final QB, Ta-da! And the aftermath. And again, this is the Rubik's Roll. There are a ton of really cool games that you can play with this. Be creative, come up with your own, and thanks for tuning in to an episode of Dana Does.